through these one at a time. We'll react real quick, and then Jason Lloyd will join us towards the end of the show with some live insight from Berea on what the Browns general manager said. But let's start with the first one. You asked about Joe Flacco. This is what Andrew Berry said. No, this is, you told me you're starting with Flacco, Anthony. What are you doing?
What happened
Flacco.
here?
Start with Flacco here. All right. Joe played winning football for us. Really good football in December. Really pleased with what Joe did on the field, who he was as a teammate. We've always valued the quarterback position. We've always been on top of the league with backup quarterback ventures. Next, Joe Flacco.
What does that,
what does that mean?
First of all, most of what he said there is nothing. The last sentence, we've always been at the top of the league with backup quarterback ventures. What does that mean in English?
Like, does that mean
Well, we can disprove that. It's provably false.
I don't even understand what it means exactly. Quarterback ventures?
Like, is like a venture?
Is that in terms of how many backup quarterbacks they've had on their roster over the last 3 years? He's probably right if that's what he's referring to.
I
would say that we probably have had the most.
We got
because they never come back, and this year we had 4.
Berry and Antonetti and Chernoff, they go to the same nerd school.
You know what they do? They have brunch every Sunday.
Yeah.
And they giggle at how they fill our heads with word salad.
That's spin.
Nonsense.
And they test it out on each other.
Yeah.
Antonetti looks to Barry and he goes, I got one for you. Ready?
Yeah.
Based on the things that took place last year, there are some things that we're going to look at, and there are some things that we may change, but we haven't made any of those decisions.
And we do it internally.
Use that one. They'll eat it up.
Okay, yeah, write that down.
Grossi will do 500 words on that.
Hey, here's how we're going to get better. Let's do scrimmaging. Let's cold call people. Let's cold call.
And just read our statements and see if they buy them. The Browns lead the league in backup quarterback ventures. You buying that?
Well, here's the next quote from Andrew Berry on Joe Flacco. He was asked if there's any concern about a potential controversy with him and Watson if they were to bring Flacco back. Quote, it's not a concern internally at all.
Good. That's the right answer. I'm glad to hear that he said that.
Because we've already fired Van Pelt. That's already done.
Yeah, he was the problem, and he's up out of here.
We already got
Alex
that out
Van
here.
Pelt was starting a lot of fights between
Yeah, it was
those guys.
horrible. He was really the rift in the locker room was around AVP.
I can't believe he got done like this.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, man. Hey, listen, you need to go into the Browns facility and fall on the floor after they mop.
I heard they.
My back!
Oh, and then
Workman's comp.
And fake a seizure. Oh. These guys.
I heard that Earl was involved in Stump Mitchell getting fired.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah,
Earl,
they
what'd you
share
do?
the same hair cutter.
Oh.
And
First of
Earl
all-
was not getting the good time slots, and he tried to push Stump out of the way.
So he said that he was leaking stuff to him.
That's right. Earl set him up.
I need
Earl.
Next up from Earl, you want to address that real quick?
No.
I listen, man. It's not a hair cutter, first of all. It's
Thank
a
you.
loctician.
Culturally, you
What
got
was it?
That's
It's
culturally.
it's not a hair
loctician.
cutter.
Stylist.
Stylist.
Yeah,
Sorry.
No,
I
it's not
apologize.
that
There's a word
either.
for it.
No, it's not it.
Loctician.
Loctician.
You're right. My bad. Bad job out of me. They share a loctician.
There
Yeah,
you
but
go.
Stump was trying to get in the chair when I'm trying to get in the chair,
See?
and I got to be able to produce UCSS. So.
That's right. Stump was screwing everything up.
All right, next up on Stefanski, Andrew Berry said, we have two of these. Quote, Kevin Stefanski, the way he was able to lead was absolutely phenomenal. The crazy part is he's not even close to his ceiling. And then next one, Anthony, asked about a potential extension. We're really happy with Kevin.
Oh, wow. Okay, now wait. See, that's what happens when you give vague answers like that. We're really happy with Kevin.
But can't explain why they were really unhappy with Alex.
And here's the thing. The question from Mary Kay, if it was Mary Kay's question, it was her tweet, was a pointed question about an extension. Quote, we're very happy with Kevin.
Why couldn't you just say
What?
Why couldn't you just say we're in the evaluation process, ongoing evaluation, and we've been talking to Kevin about the possibility of an extension? Because if you tell us that, what's going to happen if we hear that?
I think here's how I read between the lines. If he's a good soldier and he goes along with everything that we say he needs to do, then he'll get an extension.
See, I don't think Andrew Berry has anything to do with his extension. I mean,
Stefanski
was only because Stefanski was part of the group that hired Andrew Berry. They hired Stefanski, and then they hired Berry.
It won't be the first time a GM who was beholden to the coach fires that coach.
I guess.
It's happened before.
I just think, that again, I don't know for sure.
I would hope, God.
I think Haslam
my hope
in charge
is it's
of
a
everything.
Haslam, and the way it should work, it should be a Haslam and Andrew Berry decision.
Right.
My fear is that Paul DePodesta has a voice at the table, and that Jimmy ultimately has the voice at the table, and in that case, logic may lose.
Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely the case.
There's two reasons you would answer that way, the way he did. One, you don't know if Kevin Stefanski.
You haven't committed to giving the man an extension.
Either you haven't committed or you don't know that it's above your pay grade.
I agree with that. Yeah,
one of those two things. Either way is unacceptable.
I think he's above his pay grade.
If I'm Kevin Stefanski and I hear that that's the
I don't like that answer.
endorsement that you're giving me is we like Kevin Stefanski. They also say they liked Alex Van Pelt. It just wasn't the right
if
fit.
I'm Stefanski, I'm annoyed
room.
by that comment.
I'm very annoyed by it.
Yeah.
We like our receiver room. And our head coach.
Okay, bring them all back next year. Same receiver room.
Yeah, same joint.
But don't be crazy. We don't, the definition of insanity, when you do the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
That's right.
That is really telling.
Jason Lloyd's going to join us at noon. So at top of the hour, Jason's going to join. But we got a couple more things.
Let's say this before Jason comes in. He'll provide context. Sometimes text
It doesn't give you the full
means
thing.
nothing.
Yes,
Maybe the way he said it was, we really like Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah, we'll see. That's true.
But it wasn't the answer. If I'm Kevin Stefanski, it's not the answer I want to hear.
I thought that was interesting, Mary Kay's commentary in the parentheses after that. Can you bring that back up, Mike?
Yeah, what did she say at the end of it?
Yeah, one sec.
Yeah, the last tweet, because, obviously she says, wouldn't answer directly like he doesn't for players. Like, he never gives you a straight answer on
We said that was going to be
working out. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
All right, next up, and we could go, and it's about Nick Chubb. Obviously, got hurt against Pittsburgh in week 2, did not play again this season, but Andrew Berry on the future of running back Nick Chubb. Nobody wants to see that carry in Pittsburgh be the last time he carries the ball for the Cleveland Browns. We will obviously work to keep him on the team. And then Zach Jackson adds a little commentary here. Berry on Chubb. I understand that there's a little bit of an elephant in the room, and that goes on to say that no one wants to see the last carry. There are things to work through, but we hope, keyword hope, to have him on the team.
Hey, he ain't stupid.
He actually gave you something
Hey,
there, a little bit.
he's not stupid. I like your political acumen, Andrew Berry. You can keep it vague with all these other people, but when you have a cult following like Nick Chubb, you better not signal anything. The company message is, we want Nick on this team. We'll figure it out what the numbers look out.
What I would say in making these decisions, are you prepared to see him in a Bengals uniform next year?
Never. No. That's career suicide. I'm letting you know. There's certain things.
There are players that are untouchable. We couldn't imagine Walter Payton in anything but a Bears uniform.
I just saw somebody win a whole caucus and didn't show up to no debates.
Threw his name out there and won.
Nick Chubb don't got to show up for debate.
Yeah, Nick Chubb has got to be on this team, and he alludes to it. It's going to have to be by a contract negotiation.
He was actually pretty forthcoming on that.
I thought he was too, surprisingly.
He said
He
said we have to figure out the proper contract number. We want him back though.
You got to.
Right.
And Nick Chubb's a smart guy.
Hey, I don't eat birthday cake with nobody.
The Browns will pay Nick Chubb more than anybody else will.
Well, here's the thing. Look at the contract that and we all shook our heads at it.
Yeah.
They gave Jack
Conklin
a contract that we were like, is this a Lifetime Achievement Award contract? It felt like it.
Yeah.
If they're going to give that kind of money to Conklin, Chubb is due what he is due.
And I don't eat birthday cake with these people. I got to be able to talk about you. I don't really admire nobody. I'm not buying your jersey. But when Nick Chubb got hurt, I was emotional. I was like was too. I'm a grown man. I don't know this man from nobody. But I'm sitting there like, man, I was like, this can't be, bro. Don't do this to her. And you know what? I used to say that to people. And a lot of people was like, oh, I couldn't watch the rest of the game. I was done.
I was sick to my stomach.
I was sick.
I was literally sick to my stomach.
I'm actually internally imagining what my feeling would be like if Nick Chubb were on the Bengals.
Well, that's why I used the Bengals, because Mixon is a guy that they could move on from.
Yeah.
And
as much as I'm a Bengals fan, I don't want. Obviously, if Nick Chubb were on the Bengals, I wouldn't be unhappy. I don't want him to be on the Bengals. I want him to be on the Browns.
And
He
that's
should
telling.
Be a Brown.
That's telling because
I don't want him on the Bengals. You know what I mean when I say
I
don't
know
want
exactly
him.
what you mean.
I
It wouldn't
want him
feel
on
right.
the Browns.
It wouldn't feel right.
I would feel it would feel
Could
dirty.
you imagine
Let-
Roethlisberger late in his career going to Cincinnati
Yeah.
or going to Baltimore or going to Cleveland?
Can you imagine
if-
Joe Flacco playing for the Browns?
That's true.
That's exactly right. Now his happened, but his happened for an entirely different
But
reason.
even-
he was out of the game and nobody else wanted him. It's not like Baltimore could have kept him.
I'll tell you though, even though he won a Super Bowl with the Ravens fans didn't love Joe Flacco.
They had moved on.
the way the Browns love Nick Chubb.
1,000%.
It's like
It's much different.
It's like the one outfit that you got that's not dingy if you poor and you dirty and you just. My wife talks about it all the time. She say, we didn't have very many clothes growing up, but I had this one-piece jumper that I thought was the best jumper in the world, and I got to college and wore it, and people laughed me off the street, right? But she was like, but to me, that was the best thing ever because it was the last thing my mom gave me.
Wow.
So
Sentimental
value attachment works.
Nick Chubb is everything that our fan base loves. He's
Right.
gritty. He's not flashy.
Worker.
He's hardworking.
Yeah.
You feel like we don't know the truth. Who knows? Because Nick Chubb doesn't talk much. It feels like he loves Cleveland. He probably does. I mean,
I feel like he does
who
too.
knows?
I feel like he would love whatever situation he was in.
And he don't want to go anywhere. I can't imagine. He
And
would.
again, if they threw that kind of crazy contract at Conklin,
Yeah.
as a lifetime achievement award, even if it sets you back in the salary, everybody keeps saying, "Well, the salary cap doesn't matter. You just kick the ball down the road."
You can't do it.
You better find a way
You
to bring
figure out
24
the right
back in an
number and
orange
you
helmet.
bring that guy back.
We got
It's
one
that
more,
simple.
one more thing from Barry to hit on before Jason Lloyd joins us. This is about the franchise quarterback, Deshaun Watson. Two things. First, Andrew Berry says Deshaun and his fractured shoulder might even be ahead of schedule. They still expect a full recovery. We feel good about him moving forward. And then in terms of the new offensive coordinator hire with Deshaun, Berry said it doesn't necessarily have to have a previous connection to DW4. They're looking for the best people, but he won't answer most coaching questions until the staff is complete. Surprised at the first part of that comment, that the coaching search and offensive coordinator search doesn't necessarily have to have a connection to Watson.
No, I'm not surprised by that. He didn't say it won't have a connection to Watson.
I mean,
Right.
He just said it doesn't have to, which
not
makes sense. Deshaun Watson should have a voice in the process. I would think, guys, your quarterback.
I agree.
You want him to have a voice. He shouldn't have the final say, obviously, but he should have a voice.
Hopefully, they can reach a consensus on somebody.
I mean, why would you? Of course, you want your quarterback to have a voice, but I mean, the guy doesn't necessarily have to have a connection.
No.
They better look. We'll throw it out there. They better do whatever they can because, this year is this year. I said 6 games last year. If it don't work, if Deshaun Watson does not play all of the games, and the Cleveland Browns 14, 15 games, and they don't make some sort of, I think it's
Playoffs.
They got to win a playoff game.
Yeah, but playoffs is a bare minimum.
I think bare minimum, they got to win a playoff game.
Okay, good. I like the fact that you're kicking the
It's
bar off.
elevated, and unless he's able to play all those games and this offense don't look different, they're going to start talking about trading Deshaun Watson, which that should be a thing.
Well, that
they
will
won't be
never
able to
happen.
trade him.
Because his back 2 years are I'm surprised that we're paying him what we're paying him.
there will be rumblings of figuring out.
Moving on.
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to have
Moving
to get
on.
another quarterback.
But
if he
the
doesn't turn it
GM
around.
is not the GM. They're gonna get rid of the GM and the coach if it don't work out this year. That's just the way it's going. Because
I agree.
Because I thought they may have bought themselves some times, but evidently Jimmy Haslam did not think so.
If Kevin Stefanski does not get an extension, then you might as well just fire him because the whole thing's, which I would never do.
Well, I think Kevin's smart enough to walk.
I mean, leaving him on a lame duck year.
No.
It would be so stupid.
Especially after what he did last year.
So so here's the thing. Do you believe he gets an extension if he goes to Jimmy Haslam and said, I'm okay with not being a play caller?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's G, real quick. That's a perfect segue to this next one. I missed this earlier, but Andrew Berry on whether or not Stefanski will call plays next year said part of that depends on where we land with the staff. It's one of his strengths.
Oh, it's a done deal, guys.
Dun-da-da!
It's a done deal.
He says it's Stefanski's decision. Okay.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so what we're going to do is if we strip you of what you said is very important to you, we're now going to make you fall on that sword and say it was your idea.
Yeah, exactly.
You cool with that? Good soldier. Here's your extension.
The guy
And they're transparent even when they're trying not to be transparent.
The guy was the play caller for 4 years. This last year, with 17 different quarterbacks, he did his best job as play caller.
100%.
And now they want to demote him.
I'm telling you guys, this feels to me like they've already made the decision that he will not be the play caller.
He not gonna
and
call
whether
him.
that was precipitated by Deshaun Watson or Paul DePodesta or Jimmy Haslam, I believe that decision's been made. All I'm saying is if they bring in Dorsey and they give him the play calling duties, I don't know how they expect fans to buy that. Remember, Hugh Jackson received a contract extension after 0-16.
Yeah.
And our 11-win coach with 5 different quarterbacks who did a marvelous job of calling plays this year doesn't have his extension. And according to our general manager, well, it all depends on who we hire as offensive coordinator. But that'll be Stefanski's decision.
Okay. I wasn't doing no vicious relapse over nobody. I was just, but listen, we talked about him not giving us nothing. He's giving us a lot. He's giving us what's going on with Chubb. He's giving us what's going on with Stefanski, and I believe that this was the ultimatum. Just to me, like, hey, we love you as a coach. What you've shown that you can do for our team is hold our team together. The guys play hard for you. You dealt with adversity. You put everything together with rubber bands, tapes, and glue, and you made it to the playoffs. That's a testament of your leadership. So that's your strong suit.
Now give up play calling.
Yes. We want leadership to be the forefront. We want you to be the CEO. You can still mold and shape the coordinator, but let's get somebody that's going to bring us a little forward into the.
If that's the decision they made, it's going to have to be a name that we haven't heard yet.
Yes, and it has to.
Because these guys, to me, aren't as qualified as Kevin Stefanski at doing this.
Yes, I would like a big name then. If you're going to do that, you're going to strip him of his titles and his medals. The problem is, think about it like this: if that young coordinator comes in and struggles, now he's on the chopping block.
Sure.
Because we will.
Then it's all him, and Stefanski's got no heat on him.
And you know there's guys on the offense. First of all, Kevin Stefanski's very popular on the team.
Clearly.
Yes.
Did you guys see the soundbite from Njoku? Talking about how much he and Stefanski love each other?
Yeah, it's a love fest.
You don't think if he's forced to give up play calling and it doesn't go well, you don't think there's going to be guys on the team like, what are we doing here?
I'm not sure that Stefanski would be back on his own.
Yeah.
There are 6 open jobs right now. There would be a team that would give Kevin Stefanski a head coaching job right now.
The whole thing's weird.